What's up? It's Ollie from Ollie's Drift Garage. I'm here today at Apexi USA, which also happens to be my work. I'm going to walk you guys through the installation of a bunch of electronics that we offer here, and hopefully by the end of it, you guys will be able to install it on your own. Here are some of the tools that we will be using for our Apex electronics install. We will be installing our Apex AVCR boost controller, our Apex DECS tachometer, our auto timer, our EL2 series of gauges. Right here we have fuel pressure, boost, and water temperature. Our EL2 series control box, which actually controls all our gauges. And as I said before, our DECS tachometer also serves as a meter, and we will be metering our oil pressure and our oil temperature with these two sensors and harnesses. Alright, we're ready for our first step, which is going to consist of taking all our harnesses, since we're doing this at once, and running it through our firewall. Now, we went ahead beforehand and labeled each harness with its specific designation. So this is our fuel pressure, our boost, our water temp. And then for our DECS tac, we have our pressure sensor, our temperature sensor, and our AVCR wire harness. Since we're going to have so many wires coming through the firewall, this is going to make life a lot easier. Since we're all about safety at Apex, the first thing you really want to do is actually disconnect your battery. So if you were going to install 5 gauges, a tac, and a boost controller, this is what you'd be looking at to have to pull through your firewall. Here's the end that we're going to be pulling through, and here's all the plugs that we're going to be plugging into the respective components. We're ready to run our wires through, and we need to find the holes in our firewall. Here, you'll find the heater core is missing. Since this is a purpose-built drift car, we threw it out. So now we have 2 holes right here and here that we can run our wires through. However, since many of you will likely have your heater cores intact, you're going to want to go through your factory boot, which is right here where your engine harness runs through into the cockpit. This is where you're probably going to find your location. Now we're just going to go ahead, take our wires, and shove it through the hole. And just go ahead and pull it out from inside the cockpit. We're underneath the car right now because we're about to install our oil pressure sensor and our oil temperature sensor. We went ahead and already drained the oil out of our pan, and we're going to start now with our oil pressure sensor. So we're going to locate your stock one, and on this RB, it's located right here. You're going to want to disconnect your plug, your stock plug, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And now, you're going to want to remove your oil pressure sensor, the stock one. So, we already loosened it up. I'm just going to unthread it. And as you can see, you now have an inlet for the new oil pressure sensor to go into. Alright, now we're ready to install our Apex pressure sensor for our oil. This will come with your gauge, or you can buy it separately with the harness for the DECS tachometer if you're going to measure off of that like we are. First, we're going to put on some Teflon paste thread sealant. This stuff costs like $4.50. You can get it from a local parts store. Alright, and we just apply a little bit all around the thread. Try not to get it in the hole, that would be bad. Alright, now we're going to take our Apex pressure sensor with our sealant on it and go ahead and thread it on into the inlet. Alright, get it to where it's hand tight, and then I believe using a 17mm wrench, go ahead and tighten it on. Alright, now we're ready to install our oil temperature sensor, and we're going to first remove our drain plug. We've already drained out the oil, but we kept the plug in because some of the oil will start to pool up. So go ahead, get yours out. See, a little bit will come out regardless. Put that away, and then you're going to want to make sure you have a crush washer that fits the diameter of the thread of your temperature sensor. And you're going to go ahead and put on your crush washer, and if you notice, right here, the part where you're going to be tightening, that actually rotates free of the line. So you can tighten your new sensor without having to worry about the line having to rotate with it. So go ahead and tighten it on. Get a hand tight. Then you're going to take your 19mm wrench and you can get it nice and snug. Now, you just want to do it like a turn, like half sort of a turn. Once it's nice and snug, the crush washer is doing most of the work to keep that thing sealed. So it's going to expand and contract with heat, and you're set. We're ready to move on. Now we're ready to install our water temperature sensor. To do this, we're first going to have to drain our radiator. So with this radiator, there's no plug that I can unscrew, so I'm going to have to go through the bottom hose. Okay, we're ready to install our water temperature sensor, but first we're going to have to install our water temperature sensor coupler. This is going to go in line with the top hose of our radiator, and if you notice here, we're going to be able to screw in our temperature sensor. So let's go do it. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and remove our top radiator hose so that we can cut it probably right around here and then install our coupler. Now go ahead, once you got it loose, remove it. I've got my pipe cutter and I've already made a mark where the center line is going to be. Now since we have a bung coming out that we're going to install our water temp sensor in, we're going to want to do about 1 inch on either side of our center mark. So about right here and right here. Alright, I've already cut off the other side and now I'm going to cut off the remaining piece. Perfect. Alright, now we're ready to install our coupler. Go ahead and put one end on the top hose. Get it nice and snug. Then we're going to take our other end. I'm going to go ahead and slide that on. Now you're going to have to probably make sure you're positioned correctly, which we are. Don't forget to put on your clamp on both sides, which we have here, plus the clamp that goes back into the engine side. Go ahead and slide that on. Alright. Now, you can take your coupler and you can actually move it to where you want it. We're going to go ahead and rotate ours a little bit down so it's a little bit more out of the way from everything else. Alright, before we rotate our coupler down, we're actually going to go ahead and install our water temperature sensor. And also, don't forget, you want to get a crush washer. Now, this doesn't come with one. You're going to go to your local auto parts store and get one. They're good to have, but make sure that your seal is solid. So go ahead and thread it on. Then, we're going to go ahead and tighten it with our wrench. Give it a couple good turns. Solid. Rotate our coupler down, just like this, and we're ready to reinstall the hose into the engine side, like that. Now, all that's left is to go ahead and tighten down our clamps, and our temperature sensor is installed.